Rama Rama Hare Hare. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militang Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtang Stapitang Yena Bhutale Svayam Rupa Kadamayam Tadati Swapatantikam Bandehang Shri Guru Shri Uttapada Kamalang Shri Gurun Vaishnavangscha Shri Rupang Sagrajatang Sahagana Raghunathan Vitang Tang Sajivam Sadvaitang Savadutang Parijana Sahitang Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitangscha. Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhani Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye. All right, everyone. Today is three things. It is the day of the Jagannath Ratha Yatra. It's also the disappearance day of Lord Chaitanya's most intimate, one of the two most intimate companions, Swarup Damodar Goswami, who will be in this verse that we are going to do. And also it is the disappearance of, I'm missing one more, another very important personality. Shivananda Sen. So I'll start with Shivananda Sen because he's very prominent, but of the personalities, you would say he would be probably the least prominent in the. He disappeared on a very stacked day. But Shivananda Sen was a very wealthy businessman in the pastimes of Lord Chaitanya in Navadvip. And when Lord Chaitanya did his sannyas lila and went to Jagannath Puri, and he would regularly attend the Ratha Yatra festivals there, and during the Chaturmasya months, all the devotees would come attend the Ratha Yatra festival, and they would and they would have a big 4-month. And even this year it starts before the Chaturmasya festival. But I think maybe every year, I don't know. Does it start every year before the Chaturmasya 4 months? Or is it just this year because of the Purushottamas? For whatever reason, they all would go, they would attend Ratha Yatra, and then they would spend 4 months with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So Shivananda Sen, he was a great devotee of Lord Chaitanya, and he was actually the ideal example of a business person who has wealth in this world. Lord Chaitanya entrusted him to look after all the devotees, especially those who didn't have as much wealth or know how to manage wealth so much, and he organized the entire pilgrimage to Jagannath Puri every year. He made sure everyone got through the tolls nicely, and he arranged so many things. There's some special pastimes where he was kicked by Nityananda Prabhu, and there's many special pastimes. It was a loving kick, but it looked externally very not loving. But anyway, it was meant to glorify Shivananda Sen. He's an incredibly great personality. We definitely want to receive his blessings today. So Shivananda Sen, Prabhu Ki Jai. Just a little bit about Shivananda Sen's mercy. He would take care of, Lord Chaitanya instructed him to take care of everybody on the pilgrimage to Jagannath Puri. Everybody, without exception. So one year a dog accompanied them. So Shivananda Sen was looking after this dog, and he was taking it in his heart. I am to take care of everybody on the Jagannath Puri, pilgrimage. And this dog I also give special attention to. So he was arranging that the dog made sure he got fed, and that they were always maintaining the dog along the way. Well, one of the days, by the eating of the prasadam, the dog got a taste for Mahaprabhu and his associates. So he ran ahead to Jagannath Puri to greet Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. But Shivananda saying he was looking after the dog and he was lamenting over and over and looking everywhere for this dog. He was giving so much love and affection and chanting Hare Krishna to this dog and accompanying him on the journey. And so, what ended up happening is the dog went to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu first. Shivananda Sen is lamenting, and when he got there, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was feeding the dog coconut, and he's just feeding the dog coconut, and the dog is actually in so much ecstasy. He's chanting Hare Krishna. He's chanting the Maha Mantra in so much ecstasy. So, so when Shivananda Sen he gets there, he's in a very morose mood because, oh my gosh. Shivananda Sen, he gets there. How are you doing, Jose? So he gets there and he's in a very morose mood because he could take care of everyone but that one dog. But when he sees the dog there, he's in ecstasy because he's seeing the dog not only eating from the hand of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, but jumping up on his two hind legs and chanting Hare Krishna. And then actually that dog chanted Hare Krishna and then left his body and went back to Godhead. So if I remember the pastime correctly. But it's a very nice pastime. I don't remember if it's in Chaitanya Bhagavat or Chaitanya Charitamrita, but this is due to the affection of Shivananda Sen, all of Shivananda Sen's family were great devotees of Lord Chaitanya. He was very dear to Lord Chaitanya. And he is the ideal also, Grahastha ideal, someone who has wealth, how to use his wealth to look after the devotees, how to use his wealth to always arrange that the devotees are taken care of and that they can perform their devotional activities. Because that's the real perfection of wealth. So, Shivananda Sen Ki Jai. Yes.
I heard something from Prabhupada today about, I'm pretty sure it's the same dog, correct me if I'm wrong, but Lord Chaitanya was like eating prasadam, he was throwing his remnants to this dog.
Yes.
And the dog got attained the
Yes. That coconut was his own coconut that he was eating and he was feeding, and then the dog in ecstasy. Yes. So thank you, Madhav, for allowing me to more properly tell it. Thanks to Srila Prabhupada. So yes, that's. I didn't look up a pastime for Shivananda Sen, but I'm just remembering it's his disappearance day, so he should be honored. But yes, if I remember, it was the remnants of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that gave him the ecstasy, that the dog could actually do what no ordinary dog can do, and actually chant the names of God and actually go back to Godhead right there, which is very special. Usually a dog, they're not. They have to they can go up to a human birth and then they have to take to the life of devotion. But this dog had a very special arrangement to being favored by the Lord and first by the Lord's devotee. This is also the power of being favored by the Lord's devotee. If you're favored by the devotee of the Lord will have special mercy on you. And so this dog is an example. So become very pleasing and favorable to the Vaishnavas, and the Lord will surely have mercy on you. It's just a good example of this pastime. Now, Swarup Damodar Goswami. So Swarup Damodar Goswami, he's going to be in this portion of Chaitanya Charitamrita that we read. So it'll be very good. But just a little backdrop about Swarup Damodar Goswami. He is from, I forget his name when he was in Navadvip with Lord Chaitanya. But he also took sannyas, and he became Swarup Damodar Goswami. And he actually was Lord Chaitanya's secretary and right-hand man, and one of the only two that Lord Chaitanya can fully express. There's only two personalities who knew Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's whole heart, and that was Swarup Damodar Goswami and Srila Rupa Goswami. But Srila Rupa Goswami knew through Swarup Damodar Goswami. So I don't know if you guys remember the Gundicha Marjan pastime yesterday. There was a Bengali Vaishnava who took the water that was on Chaitanya, that washed Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's feet, and he drank it. And then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he got very upset because it was in the temple that he did that, and he said, "Alas, alas, oh Swarup." And he started chastising Swarup Damodar Goswami. He said, "Look what your Vaishnava, your Bengali Vaishnava has done." But actually, it looked like the form of chastisement. But actually, what he was doing was he was glorifying that Vaishnava and glorifying Swarup Damodar Goswami as the leader of all of the Vaishnavas. So, so in this way, Raghunath Das Goswami, he prays, Yadi Charavasang Brajabu Visaragam Prati Jano. So he's saying, if you desire to live in the land of Braj, following in the moods of the Ragatmik Bhaktas, or those who have this intense loving service to Krishna. Yuvadvan Tache Parichayat Maradabi Lashay. If yes?
Why was it like chastising?
Because the Lord, because if you were to take the water from someone's feet, you know how in Indian culture you touch the feet of your elders. It's like a sign of respect. So if you were to take the water from the feet of such a personality, it's an extreme glorification. But if you were to do that in front of the Lord at the temple, it's actually an offense. You should never glorify anyone in front of the Lord. The attention should be on the Lord in the temple,
Like in front of the deities.
in front of the deities and things like that. So anyhow, what happened was that there's many rules about how to perform temple etiquette. Because even though Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was the very deity in the temple, but because he was playing the role of a devotee, he chastised to set by example. But at the same time, his words had hidden meaning. And the hidden meaning was that all of the Vaishnavas are under Swarup Damodar Goswami. Actually, this Chaitanya Charitamrita are due to the notes of Swarup Damodar Goswami, and which was given to Raghunath Das Goswami. And Raghunath Das Goswami, Swarup Damodar Goswami was his very intimate Shiksha Guru during his pastimes with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in Puri. So Swarup Damodar Goswami is no ordinary personality. In Krishna Leela, he's actually the very confidential associate of Radharani, which is Lalita Saki. Now, I should also mention, if we are all the way here, this is a very intimate group here, and luckily there's no new people here, so I can talk pretty openly. But just in case someone online is listening, all the assumptions that there's a God and that God comes in certain ways, they're all here at this point, and now we're going to the very intimate pastimes of the Lord. So we're taking a jump today, because normally we do a lot of foundational, Siddhanta or Tattva or truth, but this is on a special festival day like today. We're jumping to the inner meanings of the festival are very intimate, so we're going to jump to some of the more intimate aspects here. So, Swarup Damodar Goswami is the leader of the Vaishnavas, all the Gaudiya Vaishnavas. So actually, after he says Yuva Dvandvang Tachet Parichayatum Arad Abi Lashe, that loving couple, if that loving couple, Yuva Dvandvam, the youthful couple, Parichayatum Arad, if you desire to have direct service to them, then Swarupam, which is Swarup Damodar Goswami, Sri Rupam, Rupa Goswami, Saganam, which is, and all their associates, Ihatasya Grajamapi, and the elder brother of Rupa, which is Sanatana Goswami. Then Svutang Premna Nityang. So always with distinct love, this very special type of love, Smaranama, you should remember them, and you should bow down before these personalities. Tada Tvang Shrinu Manaha. And he's saying, please hear me, O mind. Please hear me. You remember this personality. So Swarup Damodar Goswami, we should remember. Ki Jai. He's going to be part of the pastime we're doing here. So, ready? Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda.
Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda.
Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda. Samanya eka shloka Prabhupadena kirtane. So, we're going to skip the synonyms. Translation: generally, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu recited a verse while dancing and chanting before the Rath. But no one knew why he was reciting that particular verse. Only Swarup Damodar Goswami knew the purpose for which the Lord recited that verse, according to the Lord's attitude. He used to quote other verses to enable the Lord to relish smells. That was one of the things that Swarup Damodar Goswami would do. He would see Lord Chaitanya's mood and bhav, and actually this is what Lalita Sakhi does in Krishna Lila. She sees the mood of Radharani and she will act accordingly to further stimulate her loving emotions more, to further enhance the pastimes. This is what devotees do, but this is what the topmost devotee, Swarup Damodar. So when he would see the mood of Krishna taking the form of Radha's mood in the form of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he would quote verses from the Bhagavatam or even other worldly dramas that would help stimulate the mood. Actually, we're going to see this. So anyway, but we're going to see Rupa Goswami also knew. So Rupa Goswami, however, could understand the intention of the Lord, and thus he composed another verse that appealed to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So it goes, Yakom arahara saeva hivarasta eva chetrakshapas te kon milita malati surabaya prodha kadambanila sachaivasmi tathapi tatra surata vyapara lila vidho reva rudhasi vetasi tarutale cheta samutkantate. So this was actually during the Ratha Yatra. This was like a worldly drama. This would be like the equivalent of just some like love movie that the karmis or that all non-devotees watch about basic love, and they're quoting. And Lord Chaitanya quotes this verse during the Ratha Yatra. So nobody understood why he would do such a thing. But Swarup Damodar Goswami knew and Rupa Goswami knew. So, it means that very personality who stole my heart during my youth is now again my master. These are the same moonlit nights of the month of Chaitra. The same fragrance of malati flowers is there, and the same sweet breezes are blowing from the Kadamba forest. In our intimate relationship, I am also the same lover, yet still my mind is not happy here. I'm eager to go back to that place on the bank of the Reva, under the Vetasi tree. That is my desire. So for context, this is a worldly drama about a woman who had, before she married her husband, she had a love affair with her husband. And in the love affair, there's so much, when you do something forbidden in the arts of love, there's like a worldly thrill to it, actually. There's like a thrill. So, and then after marriage, it all kind of just, all that thrill and love, it just kind of seeps away, right, honey? So like this, it all kind of just seeps away. And, that's why, unless you're married for a higher reason, like for the service of the Lord, it'll all just become stale and horrible, just to be honest with you. So, but luckily we are married for a higher reason, and so it doesn't have to be so bad. But anyhow, the woman in this play, she's upset, that now her relationship with her husband has become stale and boring, because that's just what marriage does eventually. It just becomes stale and boring, especially if you're a worldly person. It becomes terrible. But, sorry to bust your bubbles. But, yeah, I get joy from approaching the dark truths of reality. That's how it's part of my astrological relationship with Saturn. It's actually an exalted Saturn quality. If you have a good relationship with Shanidev, like I do in my chart, you actually can face the hard truths of life with a smile. So anyway, this is one of my actually supposedly good qualities, that I can find joy in the the morose situations in life. But anyhow, I don't have that many good qualities, but that's apparently one of them from my chart. But anyhow, this woman, this lover is, this was a famous verse in a worldly play. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, in the middle of his devotional ecstasy, like screaming out this verse, and everyone is very confused. They know where it's from, and they're very like shocked. Like, why would that? He say that? But Swarup Damodar, and he knew, and Rupa Goswami, he ended up also knowing. So Rupa Goswami, he actually gave the context for that verse, what he actually meant in this verse. Ready? And this is going to, why am I sharing these verses? This is going to tell you the internal meaning of Ratha Yatra, that only the Gaudiya Vaishnavas can relish. And then I'll talk about a more general meaning for Ratha Yatra. Devi, please get this boy under control.
He's with delirium.
Yeah, I know. So if he has to go nap, what can be done? So, anyhow, he has to let go. Anyway. Priya soyang Krishna saha charikuru kshetra militas tata hangsa radha tadidam ubayo sangama sukam tatapyanta kelan madura murali panchama jushe mano me kalindi pulina vipinaya sprihayati. And he said, my dear friend, now I have met my very old and dear friend Krishna on this field of Kurukshetra. I am the same Radharani, and now we are meeting together. It is very pleasant, but I would still like to go to the bank of the Yamuna, beneath the trees of the forest there. I wish to hear the vibration of his sweet flute, playing the fifth note within that forest of Vrindavan. So this is in Rupa Goswami's Padyavali. So Rupa Goswami, he took that verse and he pretty much translated it out. What was the heart of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu when he was chanting that verse? And that's this verse. Why? Because there's a pastime in the Srimad Bhagavatam, 10th canto, where after Krishna left, in this world, Krishna, when he performs all of his pastimes, to teach the people of this world, and to perform special leelas that can only be performed in this world, because in the spiritual world, no one has any bad qualities. No one has any bad qualities in the spiritual world. So the killing of demons and all these activities that Krishna does in this world, he can't do that in the spiritual world. So, Devi, please. He has to go. So anyhow, so Krishna can't do many of the things that he does in this world, in the spiritual world. Just
Thinks I left.
yeah. So anyhow.
Okay, you're done.
Yeah, he's done. So, get out! so anyhow. Sorry. Aviram, just please. So anyhow. Where am I? Okay, I'm trying. So Krishna, he can't do many of the things he does in the spiritual world, or he can't do many of the things he does in this material world in the spiritual world. So the very special pastimes come here. But one of the pastimes are all for the benefit also for the conditioned souls here. We're all conditioned souls here. So these Shrishti Leela pastimes of Krishna are especially beneficial, actually. They're especially beneficial. So what are these pastimes teaching us? Why does Krishna leave the residents of Vrindavan? Because how the residents of Vrindavan respond in this world, it shows us the epitome of how we should feel towards Krishna. The amount of love and separation that they have. And that's what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he came to show us, this love and separation. So Radharani, this verse is describing a pastime from the Srimad Bhagavatam, that in the 10th canto, after many years of being separated from Krishna, and all kinds of teasing of Krishna, he sends Uddhav, he sends Balaram, they go back to the residence of Vrindavan, but Krishna never himself, at least openly, externally, goes. there is some license from our acharyas that it is indicated that he did go. But from the external point of view, he doesn't go, and this is the first time he's meeting them in like close to 100 years. They lived a bit longer back then. Like Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita, he was like 125 years or something like that when he was speaking Bhagavad Gita. But he was still very youthful and beautiful. And now at 125 years, we would, you're lucky you make it to 80 years now in this age. But, and you're not going to look good at 80 either. You're going to really not be very fresh. So anyhow, that's just the nature. Back then they lived longer. But close to 100 years they've been apart, and Radharani, this is her mood when he meets, Krishna arranges a meeting. But now Krishna looks different. He's dressed like a prince. He's dressed, he's got all this royal garb. He's got all these royal servants. It's not the same. It's not the same as the love they shared in the Vrindavan forests and things like that many years ago. It's not, the mood is not that love that they shared. We're all dependent on all the different sweet factors of Vrindavan. But now it's different. He's like a prince, and even though he's still trying to exchange some type of sweetness in relationship, Radharani is, wants to go back. Please go. Let's go back to the bank of the Yamuna, beneath the trees of the forest there. I wish to hear the vibration of his sweet flute playing the fifth note. He doesn't have his flute anymore. His flute is only in Vrindavan. He doesn't have his peacock feather. In the Jagannathastakam, it was describing Krishna in Vrindavan with the flute and peacock feather. But Jagannath doesn't have any of that. Jagannath's in Dwarka. Or, at the very least, with this pastime here, our acharyas can conclude we can see Jagannath as in Kurukshetra as well, during this pastime. And you can see the journey of, now we'll get to the Ratha Yatra festival. So what is the Ratha Yatra festival?
I have a question.
Yes.
My dear friend, now I have met my very good and dear friend Krishna.
She's,
Who is actually
she's speaking to one of her sakis, to one of her friends.
something?
She's speaking, Radharani is speaking to one of her sakis.
Oh,
She's not speaking this to Krishna. So this is a verse that she's speaking to her, like one of her saki or friends. Saki is a friend, right? So does that answer your question? Okay. So, so what is Ratha Yatra? Now, on a most basic level, like maybe Satvik, you've heard, some people believe that, on a most basic level, it's the one day of the year that Patita Pavan, Lord Narayan in the form of Jagannath, comes out and grants his mercy upon the lowly fallen souls who are not eligible to see him in the temple. Like kind of this elitist, classist type of feeling, That could be fine for a certain group of people, but our acharyas think that's not a very advanced and full of ras, very sweet understanding of the Jagannath Ratha Yatra. Another interpretation, there's many crazy interpretations. Some even believe it's Buddha in some weird way. There's all kinds of really interesting things. But what do the Gaudiya Vaishnava Acharyas, how did Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and all their associates, and especially when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was on the planet, he was the focal point of the Ratha Yatra. All the Gaudiya Vaishnavas during King Prataparudra's reign, they were the chief, the chief leaders of this Ratha Yatra procession. It's described in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. We don't have time to get into it, but how epic this build-up to this Ratha Yatra festival is, and all the organization of when the Navadvip Dham devotees meet the Puri devotees, and they come together and they all celebrate this festival. It's like epic, actually. So anyhow, that's all described Chaitanya Charitamrita, but you have to read it yourself to get the full juice. I'm here just to tell you the basic meaning of this and how we should see. And this also will be good. Should we see Jagannath? Because we see Jagannath everywhere. I see Abhiram's playing with Jagannath everywhere. He loves Jagannath. That's his favorite personality, actually. So how to see Jagannath? So this is what should be known. So Jagannath, we should understand, why does Jagannath take that form? It says he comes in this form for this world, in the deity form, like this. Every day of Brahma, Jagannath will come. And on top of that, what's the pastime? Krishna, when he was in Dwarka with his queens, he would wake up at night in like sweats and dreaming, and he would be calling out, whose name? Radharani's name. So imagine you're laying with your significant other, and then they're in the middle of the night, all perturbed and disturbed, calling out some other person's name.
Not some other person, their ex-girlfriend.
Yes, their ex. Well, they might not even know exactly, because it wasn't well known. But some other, as far as I know, who is this Radha? They don't know. Oh, that was Krishna's girlfriend. But anyway, who is this? But he's calling out Radha's name, Radhe. So anyhow, so they're all really disturbed because they love Krishna so much, but they see that Krishna's love for Radharani just dwarfs their love. The ecstasies in which he's calling out their name, and he's sleeping. It's not like his fault, I mean, Krishna's, God, but they don't, they try not to recognize that in the case. So anyhow, they're kind of shocked by this. So they want to know about, and they know that Uddhava went there, and Uddhava was really humbled by this situation. So they want to know more about the Brajavasis. So who do they ask, Who is in Dwarka that they could ask about the Brajavasis besides Krishna? What? No, they're not in Dwarka. Maybe you guys haven't read all the way yet to Srimad Bhagavatam. No. Who did they ask? If they want to know about Vrindavan, who did they ask? Yes, Mother Rohini. Because Rohini, if you remember, she escaped. She was Vasudev's other wife, and she carried Balaram, and she was brought to Vrindavan to give birth to Balaram out of hiding from Kamsa. But once Kamsa was killed, then Rohini went back with her husband Vasudev, and she was a Dwarkavasi now. But she was both a Brajavasi and Dwarkavasi. So anyway, they asked Mother Rohini. All the queens, they got together with Mother Rohini. So, but Mother Rohini said, "Okay, I'll tell you." But all of the queens, they said, "We have to do this in private." If the Krishna, and even they were noticing with Balaram, they're so attracted to the Vrindavan pastimes that they'll immediately come running here, and we won't be able to get the answer. So we have to go in a locked door, and they can't be here. So, yes. That's good. That's the point of today. So anyway, so they shut the door, and they lock the key, and they tell Subhadra, Krishna's sister, you have to guard and don't let, if Krishna and Balaram come, because as soon as we start talking about these things, they're going to become attracted, they're going to somehow know, and they're going to come here. Don't let them in until we finish, and we know who are these Vrajavasis. Who is this Radha that Krishna's calling at night? We have to know. So, what happens? Mother Rohini starts describing the pastimes of Vrindavan and so many intimate things. And she's getting into so many topics, but who do you think gets they're like, the spidey senses that start tingling? Well, the Vrindavan senses of Krishna and Balaram start tingling, and then they rush there. But Subhadra is at the door, and she's not letting them in. She's doing her duty as she's their sister. And also she wants to hear, because she's hearing on the other side of the door. But then all of a sudden, the way Rohini is describing, everyone's wrapped in attention. Also, this is why the hearing of the Srimad Bhagavatam is so important. It's so sublime that anyone who hears the Srimad Bhagavatam will be completely captivated. That's how Shukadev Goswami got captivated. He was like a Shanta Ras, at least externally, devotee. And then when he heard the verses of the Bhagavatam from the hunters in the forest, his meditation was disturbed, his Atmaram state was disturbed. He said, I must attain that. I want that. So So when you hear about Krishna's pastimes in Vrindavan, in the Vrindavan pastimes, it's so sweet that it causes ecstasy. So what ended up happening was that when Krishna and Balaram, they were hearing, and all of the queens were hearing, and they're wrapped in attention. And then Krishna and Balaram on the other side of the door, and they exhibit Ashta Sattvik Bhavs. Their eyes get really big, like Jagannath. Their smiles are so big, like Jagannath. Their arms go in like this. They're, their whole body is like transformed in ecstasy. And so they took the form of Jagannath, how Baladev and Subhadra look. These are these Ashta Sattvik Bhav forms of the Lord. And Subhadra also, being there, experiencing their Ashta Sattvik Bhav, and also hearing the pastimes of Vrindavan, also, completely experiencing devotional ecstasy. So, this is the pastime, and they were there just hearing for hours the pastimes of Vrindavan, as Rohini told all the queens about this, and about, why Krishna is so attracted to these Vrajavasis.
Why does that happen for Subhadra? They get Balaram and Krishna because they have like their gopis, but why Subhadra?
Just association, she's with them. I don't know.
I think Subhadra was also.
Yes.
Also, Yogmaya. So she was also a part of all the Vrindavan leelas because she was sister of them. And
Yeah, but it would be Rasabas, no? For like the sister.
It would
to say
technically
those
be
things.
Rasabas, but for the sake of this pastime, I would think that it's because she's associating with Krishna and Balaram like that. So then by association, you get your mood by association. But yes, everyone is related. She's related, but because of her expansion is in the Dwarka pastime, she can't really fully fit into these pastimes, because it's not so easily translatable. Even though Abhiram is the expansion of me, expansion of my energy in this world, and my wife's energy, it doesn't mean he can fit into all the same categories and things, all the same moods. Even though it's in one sense he's the same, but in another sense he's different. He wouldn't be able to fit in all. So same Subhadra, she is coming from this Yogamaya potency, but because she's the Dwarka expansion, she can't fully fit into the Vrindavan Leela. But that being said, by association with Krishna and Balaram, experiencing those devotional ecstasies, she was also experiencing the devotional ecstasies, which is why she also looks like that. So this is the form of the Lord in devotional ecstasy. This is what we should know, actually. It's not just some cute little wooden statue like that. It's very cute, see the forms here. These are Abhiram's toys. Favorite toys, actually. Very, they almost look almost silly or cartoon-like or comical, But actually it's the devotional ecstasies of the Lord. So the pastime goes that Narada Muni then came on the scene eventually, and he was so excited to see Jagannath, Baladev, and Subhadra in this devotional ecstasy form that he pleaded to them, please come every once in the day of Brahma and grace this beautiful form to the world and be the Patita Pavan, the deliverers of the fallen, to see you in this form. So now every once in a day of Lord Brahma, they will be manifest that Lord Jagannath, Baladev, and Subhadra will come in this way, like this, There's so much devotional ecstasy. So now, Ratha Yatra. So, from the basic understanding, Jagannath Puri is representing Dwarka. Now, from the hidden conclusions of Lord Chaitanya and our Gaudiya Vaishnava Acharyas, it could be representing the meeting at Kurukshetra. But, for the sake of common understanding, it represents Dwarka. Gundicha Marjan, this is the cleaning. Gundicha temple is the Abhiram, no stabbing people.
Like Abhiram Thakur.
Yeah, Abhiram Thakur, that he used to whip people with stick to
He used to
give
whack
them
with a
ecstasy.
stick to give them
Frame.
Yes, so give them devotional
Give me
ecstasy.
frame, Abhi.
Yes, very nice. So, okay. It's very difficult today. So now where are we? We're describing what the Ratha Yatra is. So basically, the Ratha Yatra is a festival arranged by Krishna where he pretends that he's sick. There's a pastime where he pretends that he's sick. And there's a whole big thing, so they close down the temple for these days and they get him ready. And then on the pretense of, I forget exactly why, but he wants to go out with Baladev and Subhadra. And where are they going to take him? To the Gundicha temple. And so he tells his wives one thing. Lakshmi Devi represents all of the 16,108 wives. So there's like a Hera Panchami. So you'll see that Lakshmi is also very much involved in the Ratha Yatra festival, and she's coming to chastise Krishna for his infidelity. Because Krishna is a trickster and he wants to go and associate with the Brajavasis, and which is his old hometown. And his duly dutiful wife is very upset that he's being unfaithful. This is the whole festival is about, actually, about the unfaithfulness of Krishna in his marriage vows. But what the Gaudiya Vaishnava Acharyas, they understand is that just like at work you have a certain personality, and around your relatives you have a certain personality, around your intimate partner you have another personality that's a little bit more intimate, only they can see, and so on. So Krishna, who's the Supreme Lord, he expands himself in many different ways. Narayan is the god of gods of Vaikuntha for many, many different types of devotees. And then even still very high is the Dwarka expansion of him, but there's nothing that he craves more than just going home and being able to let loose and be his full self at home. Just like you in front of me here, I remember, when we first started hosting students here, I thought like I was friends with everyone, but I realized that they kind of like saw me as like a CCD teacher or something like that, or so like that. And then I heard through the grapevine all the naughty things they were doing. I was like, how the heck do they do all these naughty things when they like seem like they're? I thought I was getting the full version of them, but they don't reveal all those things to me, So anyhow, we all have these different relationships, and we know who we can fully be our true self with. So Krishna also has like that. So Krishna's true self is in Vrindavan, and he yearns so heavily to go back to Vrindavan, and he's always willing to lie, cheat, steal, do anything that would be considered adharmic to go back to Vrindavan. So this is the essence actually of the Ratha Yatra festival is Krishna is organizing some naughty tricks to return to Vrindavan, to return to his home, and to share the love with his most cherished devotees, which are in Vrindavan. The Gaudiya Vaishnavas, they recognize the superiority of Vrindavan. They recognize the superiority of the relationships and moods of Vrindavan, and we yearn also to eternally reside in this Vrindavan. And for us, the Jagannath Ratha Yatra is it's a meditation on the yearning and desire for Vrindavan, to be able to serve Krishna in the highest realms of sweetness that exist only in Vrindavan. We don't want to serve Krishna as, the prince of, in any opulent way with all kinds of wealth, and he's a prince, he's the speaker of Bhagavad Gita and all these things. And all those things are fine. But this isn't the intimate mood that is highest and most dear to Krishna. And even also there's a whole another element that's present in Radharani that's only locked away in the deepest secrets and confines even in Vrindavan. And so we are very interested as Gaudiya Vaishnavas in serving Krishna in this way, with Krishna, with Radha. And so, this verse that we just read today, which was known only to Swarup Damodar Goswami, but also Rupa Goswami. That's why we're called Rupa Nuga Vaishnavas. We're the followers of Rupa Goswami, because these intimate moods were understood by Rupa Goswami and they were shared to us. And this is what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wanted to share to us, because he actually is Radha and Krishna coming, and he showed for all types of devotees, all different levels of devotion, but he is showing this highest, deepest, most intimate devotion to God, right? Every religion has some devotion to God. And all religions have a perfection. You could reach perfection as a Christian, as a Muslim, as a Jew. But what makes this Gaudiya Vaishnavism so special is that the perfection available, where Krishna fully kicks back and reveals his most, truest essence, which is so amazing, that's only in Vrindavan, and it's only through this path. So this is what we're looking for. And this is the gift that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave to us. So the Gaudiya Vaishnavas, when we hear about Ratha Yatra, we're not thinking about, Krishna's naughty, he's going to Vrindavan, and but our Lakshmi has to go and chastise him and take him back and bring Krishna back where he belongs and things like that.
So
Yeah.
Radha misunderstood, he wasn't actually unfaithful.
Radha and Krishna's relationship in this world looks like an unfaithful relationship. They're not married, Radha and Krishna. We worship them like seems like they're married, but they're not married actually. They have a secret love affair. By worldly standards, may seem unchaste, but actually, it on the highest levels of spiritual love, it's the highest sentiments of love can be experienced in this way. In this world, if you are unfaithful in marriage or you're unfaithful in your dealings with man and woman, it's very degraded. And you could just test this for yourself if you ever get yourself. I've done it in my life already, actually. And I did a really bad thing to a friend of mine, actually, who was, seeing someone long ago when I was a very stupid young man. And it was I got myself, it seemed like it was it was a thrill in the time. But it was actually a very degraded situation and a very regretful situation, and one of my most shameful moments in my whole life, that I, getting involved in some type of forbidden relationship like this. And it wasn't even like a marriage or anything, but just to act unfaithfully like that, it was a really, it was a really regretful situation for me. So, but in the spiritual world, where the love is at the all purity, actually this thrill applied spiritually is actually quite wonderful, but only the Lord can maximize it, actually. Only the Lord can perform this in such a beautiful and amazing way. We cannot actually. Don't ever try to think you can perform these activities. So anyway, these are very confidential things. They're not things to talk about with ordinary people, actually. These are things to talk about with intimate devotees who are very interested to know some of the confidential conclusions of, how the Lord deals lovingly with his devotees. But in the spiritual world, all the Lord's most intimate associates are all unmarried. There's no marriage, actually. You can recognize it. The restrictions and rules and everything of marriage, it actually puts a dampering on the love. It doesn't allow love to fully blossom, actually, in this world. But we don't really have good scope for love in this world, so which is why we're seeking the source of love, which is the spiritual path. But at the same time, in the spiritual world as well, love is beyond any rules and restrictions, actually. So the highest forms of love are not in a like Sita and Ram, the ideal husband and king and the ideal wife and things like that, or nor even Krishna and Dwarka with all his queens and things. It's actually the intimate and so-called forbidden relationships that Krishna had with his dear associates in Vrindavan. So we should be eager to hear about these pastimes. They're found in the 10th canto of Bhagavatam, and they're very sweet and they're very relishable. And if you just hear about them, especially from a qualified spiritual master, it's very, very sweet and relishable. So this is the essence of Ratha Yatra, that Krishna has a strong desire. He's assumed this form out of devotional ecstasy from this realm of Vrindavan, and he has a strong desire to return to this Vrindavan, and we should have a strong desire to see why Krishna wants to go there so badly. And we ourselves should want to also see if we can appeal to Krishna to gain entrance into this Vrindavan. So this is the essence of Ratha Yatra. The Lord is returning home, and we should also want to see the Lord's real home, and actually pray to let this be our real home. I'll end with something we already sang today. Diti has a work call. What's that? So we were singing. This was the Tulsi Bhajan that Dipti was singing. So, O Tulasi, beloved of Krishna, I bow before you again and again. My desire is to obtain the service of Sri Sri Radha and Krishna. Because Tulsi, she's Vrinda Devi. She's the guardian. She's like the fairy goddess of Vrindavan, of that land of Krishna, Krishna's home. And if you get her blessings, you can gain entrance into that home. Whoever takes shelter of you has his wishes fulfilled. Bestowing your mercy on him, you make him a resident of Vrindavan. This is what Prabhupada has asked us to pray in the morning. My desire is that you will also give me a residence in the pleasure groves of Sri Vrindavan Dham. Thus within my vision I will always behold the beautiful pastimes of Radha and Krishna. So you didn't know you were praying that, but every time you sing, Moraya Vilas, my desire is Vilas Kunje Diovas, to be in the pleasure groves, the kunjas of Sri Vrindavan Dham. So anyhow, I beg you to make me a follower of the cowherd damsels of Braj. Please give me the privilege of devotional service and make me your own maidservant. This is also indicating what the highest form for the aspiring devotee would be. And it's actually like a young lady's form, actually. Our tradition, I really hope no one will say this shouldn't be, but our tradition is like the actual original transgender movement, actually. Yes. Our tradition is the original, but at the spiritual level, where, we're yearning not for these material bodies, but the most intimate dealings in relationships are all with Krishna, his very intimate friends, and the young cowherd and girls of Vrindavan. So anyway, this is the prayer of Narottam Das Thakur, and this is Srila Prabhupada's prayer that he gave to us. He could have chose anything. The Gaudiya Math doesn't sing this. Actually, this is considered really high, actually, to pray. But I think Prabhupada, I don't know exactly his heart and mind, but Prabhupada, he only chose a few prayers, because his teacher, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, had many, many prayers they would sing every day. We do a little bit more than most people do here. But in ISKCON, there are only a few prayers. Samsaradava, you chant to the Guru, the Gurus, you chant Hare Krishna, and then afterwards you sing the Nrsinga Bhajan, ask Nrsinga to purify your heart, and then you sing this Tulsi prayer in the beginning, So, but in Gaudiya Math, this is a very intimate prayer that you wouldn't sing unless you're like very intimately in these moods. But Prabhupada gave this to all of ISKCON, actually. So this is actually, should be understood, this is the actual pinnacle goal, is to be associated like this. So this very fallen and lowly servant of Krishna prays, may I always swim in the love of Sri Radha and Govinda. And to really swim in that love of Sri Radha and Govinda, you have to be a certain type of intimate associate. So one day you'll have a nice, beautiful little girl form in the spiritual world, maybe. And
I'll just be a particle of dust at those little girls.
yeah, but eventually that will take you. You'll get also some form to also swim in the love of Radha and Govinda. So, but anyhow, it may take quite some time. We have, right now this is talking about like the highest and most amazing thing. That's what the Ratha Yatra is actually leading us to. But then you have to come back to reality where you're actually at, and you still have all kinds of material desires and lusts and vice and envy and, all kinds of, really low quality material things that are there. And you have to actively do some scrubbing through your bhakti sadhana, through chanting of the holy names, through associating regularly with devotees, through the archana program, and so on. It's mostly associating with devotees and chanting the holy name. This is the number two most important things. But all of the process will likely get involved. So anyway, that is our Ratha Yatra special. I'm sorry we kind of went a little over time. But in my defense, you guys did start me a little later than usual to ecstatic kirtan. But anyway, are there any questions? Comments? No? Yes?
I don't want to take too much time, but just one thing that I thought about in the past, but there's in terms of tattva of Krishna and Vrindavan versus like Bhagavad Gita Krishna. Vasudeva Krishna versus Vrindavan Krishna. I've heard different things, and I don't know what you know, but I just maybe need some more clarification to understand. I mean, not that I can understand, but to try and understand this tattva. Like I hear that Krishna is always in Vrindavan eternally, like even these material pastimes, he was always there, but yet they're all feeling separation because he's not there. And he's also feeling separation, and he's also Vasudeva Krishna, and I've also heard Vasudeva Krishna and Vrindavan Krishna are two different, almost like forms of Krishna, like that are also eternally existing separately. So it's just a little confusing.
Yes. So how to see Vrindavan Krishna when there's so many other expansions of Krishna? But we also hear that there's one tattva. The Krishna. So the way the Gaudiya Vaishnavas they see is that all forms of Krishna are actually connected to this Vrindavan Krishna. And, like for instance, the Ratha Yatra by most of Puri and most of India, it's seen as, like even it could be seen as Narayan, it could be seen as a certain way. But actually we know the intimate conclusions of the Lord and his desires, and we see him always as Vrindavan Krishna. So even in Jagannath Puri, so even Bhagavad Gita Krishna, we see as Vrindavan Krishna, and we see his pastimes of helping pull people closer to that Vrindavan Krishna. He's placing certain things there for the benefit of all living entities, but also we see him and Vrindavan Krishna, and even this mood of Ratha Yatra, that this intense mood of separation, it's showing us our position, that there's this beautiful place that could be our home, that's Krishna's home, that's so amazing and so lovely, and look how far I am from this, and please come, let me associate back there. So like this. It's not quite the same because they're coming from the vantage point where you were here with us and now you're gone, but this mood is exemplary to us actually. So we're always seeing Vrindavan Krishna is the topmost thing. Even when we see Lord Nrsimha, usually Lord Nrsimha is seen by the Gaudiya Vaishnavas as the protector of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's devotees. So we see them in relation to the Sankirtan movement, to protect us in the Sankirtan movement, and by rendering service in the servant mood to Lord Chaitanya, and his associates, that he will grant us access to Sri Vrindavan. So everything is seen in relation to Sri Vrindavan Krishna, but there might be some connections we have to make. When we see, like for instance, a living entity. Also, Tanu is an expansion of Krishna. I don't know if you knew. Did you know? Also an expansion of Krishna. We're all far removed as souls. We're also all expansions of Krishna. But we should understand Tanu is a Vinangsha portion of Krishna. And right now, unfortunately, she's part of all of us. We're Prakriti Kavalitan, where we're all swallowed up by Maya. But we're also, we're striving, and due to the association of liberated souls. So there's a way to connect us all back to eventually going back to Vrindavan Krishna. So anyway, we should see like this, but we shouldn't see everything so cheaply. Like everything's Vrindavan Krishna. This basket's connecting me back to Vrindavan. Actually it is, because Jagannath's in the basket, and so is the Krishna Leela, book. So yeah, it actually is. But anyhow, we shouldn't just see any ordinary thing. Material energy this is directly Vrindavan Leela. But at the same, there's a way to connect everything back to this, and this is the goal. This is the Prem Prayojan. This is the goal, the love here, and this is what Ratha Yatra is all about. That goal of returning to that place that Krishna wants to go, that he's willing to lie, cheat, steal, and do all kinds of naughty things to go back to this place. Why does he want to go there so badly? What's there? We should also see. We should also want to see. That's the conclusion of Srimad Bhagavatam. That's why it's the climax of Srimad Bhagavatam, is all this Vraja Leela. So we should see, but we shouldn't necessarily see that, yes, even though, but Prabhupada has said things that, of the essence that, Krishna's teachings on Bhagavad Gita are non-different than the Rasa Leela. So what does that mean? Does that mean but what it means is that by connecting with Krishna through Bhagavad Gita, the Rasa Leela also it's open to you. It's open to you. It's not necessarily that's going to be our mood forever, seeing that this is the way we see Krishna on the battlefield with Arjuna, Parthasarathi, fighting, killing demons and things like this is our eternal relationship with Krishna. He's this and like that. But by what Krishna has spoken on Bhagavad Gita, he is fully revealing his full self and making it available. But it might take a little time. Just like you all first read Bhagavad Gita, yes? Yes? That's how you all maybe got into this. Maybe, Avani, you just found the devotees. And you're like, oh, I like with these people. But usually the first thing we read is Bhagavad Gita. But what becomes available and open to us is this confidential realm that you didn't realize that Krishna was talking about in Bhagavad Gita. And this is there's even some select verses where it's revealed that Krishna is illuminating in Bhagavad Gita his intimacy in Vrindavan. But only Rasik Acharyas can recognize these things. But there is a commentary that shares which verses are like that. So anyhow, yeah, I don't know, did I answer your question okay?
Yeah.
So
there's just one thing, so when Krishna leaves Vrindavan to go speak Bhagavad Gita and go
he never leaves Vrindavan, but he performs in the Shrishti Leela, the pastimes of separation.
But that's just, of course,
it's just in the material world, and it's just for the sake of showing us something. Actually, it's not actually Krishna is not actually ever separated from Vrindavan. So, but in this world, to exemplify and show us, he is expanding some pastimes of separation to show us how great this place is, and to show the exemplary position of the Vrajavasis' love. Watching their moods of separation, they're never separated from Krishna, because even in separation, actually, the meditation is so much deeper on Krishna that there's an intense internal meeting that's happening there. And even in the meeting between Krishna and the gopis, especially Radharani, the love is so strong that the fear of separation is there, and they might be literally embracing each other, but weeping about the next time they're separating and feeling intense separation. So anyway, there's so many flavors of love.
So this is the Rasa Vipralambha.
Yes, it's how do you say? Vipralambha and Sambhog. It's meeting and separation. So there's or yoga and viyoga. So, but there's these things aren't really topics I can talk about. I just hope to one day be able to, understand more about these things. But we just know this is the goal. This is the goal. We want to go there. This is the process, what we're doing here, and what we're inviting you to come do. This is the process to work towards this goal. And the love that's available here is so tasty and sweet and relishable. And you can also relish these things potentially, but we should maybe go back to the basics and set the foundation and slowly build our palace of devotion here, but properly, not cutting corners and say, yes, I'm going, like some people they try to do. And then so in Vrindavan you see there's actually a bunch of men walking around in saris and things like that, and they're like the masis of Vrindavan, and they say, yes, we're gopis now and things like that, but they set no foundation, and then they started doing all kinds of weird things and perverted things. But because they didn't properly follow the process, they haven't been cleansed of material desires, and so they do all kinds of degraded things. So like this, we have to set the foundation nicely and build step by step and climb properly and integrate all that we've learned previously, and then we can go to the next things. And of course, every step of the way, it's blessings of our teachers. Without the blessings of a personality who's achieved on this path, you'll not get very far. So you need to have this blessing is here from an advanced personality who's actually realized in these subject matters. Okay, any questions? Last thing? You all want to go back to Vrindavan now? I hope so.
Sounds nice.
It does sound. It's way nicer than here. I'll tell you what. If you've been experiencing here, it's not that nice here. But in devotee association is nice.
Yeah.
But it's pointing us towards and these moods of separation that the Ratha Yatra highlights. These can really resonate with us because. Yeah, we try to find happiness and full-time pleasure here in this world, but it doesn't exist here. So better, instead of longing for the full-time pleasure here, you just long for that full-time pleasure. And if you actually get that thing, then you really achieve something. But here, when you get the thing that you're longing for, you realize it's just a sack of potatoes, It's like, what the hell is this? What do I do with this? It's not... Yes, it's broken glass, as Dhruv Maharaj says. So anyway, these precious jewels are open to you. Raghunath Das Goswami says, Vraje Radha Krishna Swarati Manido Tvang Bhajamano. If you worship Radha and Krishna in Vraj, they will give you the jewel, the money of their love. The jewel of their love will open up. So this is what we really want to go for. So, Shri Ratha Yatra Mahamahotsava Ki Jai. Thank you guys. This is Tanu's second to last program with us. So, and then there'll be a final program on Friday. Sadvik and Avani, I'm really happy and grateful you guys came. Otherwise, it was just an ashram program. And pretty soon we're going to, Sadvik's feeling of separation will become so strong that he'll find the sublease and he will come and live here with us. And Avani's invited too, but we can all always be together and talking about these higher topics of love. Thank you, joined online. I really hope no one listened that was not supposed to listen, because this was a bit more intimate today. But I don't think Krishna could arrange. I don't think he could arrange that. So anyway, thank